So there's this story in America, Chewy, you've probably heard it because it was massive on the internet. There was two stories actually going on at the same time. And the first one was it's a really sad story, a young sprinter athlete who got stabbed by another one of his athlete colleagues at school, and he died. And the media was he died in the arms of his twin brother, and then the boy who allegedly stabbed him got arrested.
I remember that.
And his name is Carmelo Anthony, and they have started it's the equivalent of a GoFundMe. It's called Give Send Go account for him, and it's up to $525,000. Okay, now I don't have any comments around that yet, but I'm just putting it out there. There was another story at quite a similar time about a woman in a playground calling a young black boy who had autism, I've heard about today, the N-word over and over and over again. Now, her name is Shiloh, and they've started a GoFundMe for her, and that's at $750,000. Yeah. Help me protect my family, because of course she's been cancelled and she's been this and she's been that. Now, I'm only telling you this because this is the preface to the Piers Morgan thing we're going to talk about. The story goes, basically, this kid here, Carmelo Anthony, who was accused of murder, right? Let's not beat around the bush. But they're raising money for him so he can get a fair trial. There is a sector of society who are scared he's going to be railroaded, whether he's guilty or not, but they're raising money to pay lawyers to defend him, as is everybody's right in a court of law, innocent or guilty. This lady has been, her GoFundMe thing has been populated by neo-Nazis, white supremacists, racists, basically talking about the Aryan nation and we must protect our family. So she's being rewarded for calling a kid the N-word. He's receiving money to help defend him in court. He may be guilty, it may all happen, but they're the two reasons behind these things. So there's a third lady involved. This is the lady. She is called Lily something or other, Lily Gaddis. She is the new neo-Nazi Barbie.
Oh, another
Fascist
one.
Barbie, racist Barbie. But you know what? I know people think about that shouty one that's always on Fox News. They even speak the same. I'm not going to play this all for you, but just so you hear.
There's a mom, Shiloh Hendricks, going viral on the internet right now. She told
sounds exactly the same. Now, she did a X post, a tweet that's had 2.5 million views. White people are finally fighting back. Stand with Shiloh Hendricks. Shiloh Hendricks is the mother yelling the N-word at a 5-year-old at a park. So you have the background. I want to talk about a couple of things here. The first, and I've said this before, how Piers Morgan is no longer a journalist. He platforms a neo-Nazi and he doesn't know she's a neo-Nazi. He platforms a white supremacist and he doesn't know she's a white supremacist until about question number 3. Like, I read the tweet and I hear what she's about, the support of the mother shouting, and I go, yeah, she a fan of the white people and around her. And so I want to show you a clip where in real time, Piers Morgan realizes what his show has become. Now, the second part of the conversation is platforming people, because there's a clip from the end of the show, and we've had conversations here about what we do, but where Piers Morgan therefore challenges this lady to use the N-word on his show. Go on then, say it. Go on then, say the N-word. And I'll leave it at that for now, but it's a really good lesson why, blood on the floor, like for media, maybe not getting the most salacious thing out there is beneficial because it can be harmful. Right, that's pretty much all of the setup. This is like 3 minutes. You will get that she is a white supremacist from about the third word she says. Just think this is probably the biggest, if not the biggest, one of the biggest online news shows at the moment, getting on people who he doesn't know who they are or why they're there.
Well, Lily Gaddis, you posted a defense of Shiloh on X. It's been viewed 2.5 million times, in which it was entitled "White People Are Finally Fighting Back."
Right. So that's all you need to know. Fair, Chewy? White people are finally fighting. So now we know he doesn't. He has no idea.
The
Stand with Shiloh Hendricks. What did you mean by that?
Here's the thing. White people have been under attack for years. It's been
Enough? You got enough now? If you weren't clear then, you've got enough now? Yeah. Piers is still not quite there yet.
systematic racism. As much as black people and people of color want to talk about systematic racism in the United States, it's quite the opposite. They get preferential treatment when it comes to getting a job, when it comes to getting into colleges.
And if you weren't convinced already, we're well past. We are well past the idea. Piers Morgan still doesn't know.
White people, on the other hand, have been getting attacked relentlessly. Look at 2016 and BLM and all the riots. We just had to sit back and watch people burn down our cities and do nothing about it. So the way to fight back against essentially this anti-white hatred that's been systemically, ingrained in U.S. society is with white unity. We don't see white unity on our side.
Hang on. Okay, but hang on.
There you go. So 1 minute in, white unity was the phrase for Piers Morgan to kind of go, well, hang on, what? Hey, what? Hey, who's on my show? And then the next thing that Piers Morgan does is the most pathetic job ever at sort of then taking her worldview apart. And he keeps her on the panel for the whole hour. Just putting that out there. This has got about 90 seconds.
Just to be clear, this has got nothing to do with anything you've just said. This is a disgusting racist woman who repeatedly spews the M-word, first at a young child and then at the person taking the video of her, does it with complete impunity, does it numerous times. We are talking about a bona fide, unquestionable racist. So I don't understand why what you've just said to me.
That's a very true point. I don't understand. Well done, Piers. Knowing your shortcomings is a good step towards becoming a wiser person.
Bears any relation to white unity or anything that you've just said. She's just a racist. End, isn't she? You wouldn't dispute that.
It's not about her. It's not about her. It's about
it is about her
coming together and supporting another white person. And it doesn't matter.
Why would you want to support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech.
Bingo. There's the buzzword, people. There's the buzzword. How many times do we hear and read about particular international nefarious groups pushing in through free speech their messages? So there's the buzz. I know, Chew, you want to kill me for playing this already, but we'll get to the end of this clip. Then I'll give you a pop off and then we'll play the outro.
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in a country.
That's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. Would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
No hesitation.
I do, quite frequently.
You use the M-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist. Are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
I just want to once again remind you, I know you're all clear because it's got his branding all over it. Piers Morgan, his team has brought this person on. He knows nothing about her.
I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Well, if you use the M-word repeatedly, you are a racist then, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding,
I'm sure you've already
helping white people
embraced
achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be clear, you just said.
Just to remind you, Carmelo Anthony is the black teenager in the other instance. So this is the thing. The thing is playing these off against each other, thinking that they're the same because they're both on the GoFundMe earning being given hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they're trying to say it's the same. She's trying to say it's the same.
To me, you use the N-word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
So, Chewy, there is a point to this, trust me. There is a point to this because we also are about to see in real time how that can harm right? And from a media point of view, I in the past have probably been one of the not platforming people. Like I sort of have a bit of a rule that I'll go on their platform, but I be very more reticent about bringing them on my platform. But when we've done that in the past, Chewy, you will attest to this, it hasn't been like a what? So hang on. So you don't believe in the vaccine? I didn't know that, as opposed to 40 pages of notes for the preparation. But Chewy, you want to go, so go, sir.
She's got a hell of a lot of teeth for someone with opinions like that. Like first observation. Second observation, her first comments, her little rant that she went on. I've spoken a couple of times of my activity, my anti-racism activity earlier in my life. That would not be out of order or unheard of on the Stormfront forum.
Of course.
It's the sort of speech that would happen in the dead of night in rural Alabama in a shed with people all wearing their bed sheets under cover of darkness. Even they knew that you just couldn't roll like that. She's happy to go on a huge show like Piers Morgan and just say absolute conviction, absolutely sure of what she's saying, zero fear of consequences. And she's worried about her free speech. I'll point out again, I've said this before, free speech means the government can't throw you in jail for saying something. It's not freedom from any and all consequences for the things that you say. And this is why I point out she looks like she has a head full of teeth, which seems wrong to me at this point.
I also love, and we saw this with Posey Parker, and we see this with others, media outlets in New Zealand that call themselves independent while being funded by right-wing Christian fundamentalist groups, is that if my message was sitting comfortably in the world of that kind of person, I would be questioning my message. You know, why did literal neo-Nazis turn up to Posey Parker's protest in Melbourne? What is it about the message that they are attracted to? Even if she disowns them, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And the people who, and it's a little bit like, you know, if there's a conversation going on around Israel at the moment, you can have people who are critical of the policies of Israel and what the IDF is doing, right? And then you can have anti-Semites. And sometimes parties may say, or they won't say the same thing because there's a different reason. But I guess what I'm saying is you've got to be careful who you get into bed with. You've got to be careful and got to check yourself with the people who are agreeing with your philosophy. You know, it's worth asking the question. And why are they not our side of the argument?
As far as Piers Morgan goes, I mean, it's great that he obviously pointed out the biggest, most obvious thing of like, oh, holy shit, you are an unapologetic, supremely confident in your point of view neo-Nazi that is on my show now, and this should have at any point he could have dumped her off that show.
Yeah, that was the start of the show.
His production crew could have gone, oh, actually, fuck no. There's nothing. There's literally no benefit to bringing this person on for us. Like I like that timeline of things where people just go, hey, I've got an idea. Let's ask the Nazi what they think. No, we did that. We heard what the Nazis had to say in the 40s, and we all got together and we decided that it was bad and we should never hear from them again.
I also just thought as I was sitting there, my analogy wasn't particularly good because being critical of Israel is different from someone being critical of Jewish people. So it's not really the same argument, but we'll leave that. So it's not quite the same. It's not at all the same. And can I just say to Two Boots, not a fan of giving this airtime. Fair. I said at the start some people wouldn't be, but now we're going to go into the wrapping up part of it. And there is a lesson here for people in the media. right? Mark Lamont Hill. Mark Lamont Hill is an author, an academic, television personality, and he is the gentleman in the middle with the suit, jacket, and shirt on, right? So that's Mark Lamont Hill here. Now, I think this is really important for all of us to see. And for those of us in the media, this is important to see as well. Because what happens now is basically Piers goes back at this, Nazi Barbie again, and then he tries to challenge her to say the N-word there and then. And I want to show you an example, a really good example of why getting the tastiest, juiciest, clickbaitiest piece of content or headline is not always the place to go. And Mark Lamont does something brilliant here.
I don't really care what people think about me. As long as you care about what people think about you, you have no power and you lose your country. What I care about is freedom of speech. And if you're not allowed to say the most offensive things in this country, you do not have freedom of speech. I don't care what anybody says. So that's the main crux of this situation. That's what I care about with this situation. It is, we have lived for far too long in a country where you can have your life destroyed. And people say, oh, she doesn't need this money. Her life's destroyed, by the way. She'll never be able to get another job. She's got children to have to support. And I don't want to live in a country where you can say an inappropriate, rude thing, which, by the way, Black people can say things to white people all the time and they never get canceled. There's no backlashing about this. I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly. And you can.
This is the thing, though, it's like the right want freedom of speech so they can say the N-word. It's actually literally what we've said before. It's like I feel like the left talk about freedom of speech because they want to be able to discuss and debate and that sort of thing. That's how I see it, at least. But the right want freedom of speech so they can say the N-word. So I just wanted to play the intro part first before we get into the lesson for the media.
You will
go on,
not
then
have
say
free-
it. Say
You
the
will
M-
not have
Go on,
free
say
speech.
go on. Say the M word. Go on.
I'm
No.
hang on.
Invite. No.
No.
I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me because I'm the only on here. So if she says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word because that's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here. You and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and to ask her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish. It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Piers. I understand what you're trying to do, but we already know she's racist,
I hear you.
and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there.
In real time, live on TV, seeing someone responding to how going for the blood, getting that great clip. Piers would have known that would have been a great clip if she had said it. They would have gone all over the internet. Is not just harmful, but harmful to someone sitting in there participating in the same panel. I just think that's a really interesting message and a thing to think about, especially for us. Maybe it's just for me and you, Chewy. Not that we run this kind of game, but it's interesting to think about where it can go and what it can do.
I put in the chat, like for the people that are watching this, like this stuff does bleed through to us here in New Zealand. There will be people here in New Zealand that agree with that dreadful woman,
100%.
And will look for the same opportunities to do so. I think the point of us playing it there is A, it's shocking. B, it's so we can see signs of it here and fucking stop it. Piers Morgan's a contemptible piece of shit that is wrong more times than he is right. And for all of his sitting there and going, oh, this is terrible and being an avowed racist is bad, he still let it happen. And he let it happen for an hour.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if that first clip was in the first, say, 7 to 10 minutes of the show, he should have been, bye, and she should have been gone. But he kept it there for the whole show.
That would be a clip that I would roundly applaud. Have you seen that? I'm pretty sure it's a joke clip, but it's a French show of, I think it's called Flash Debate, and they've got two people on, and one of the people is transgender.
No, I don't think.
And they go, oh, so you were a man and now you're a lady. The first question, are you happy? And the person goes, yes, I am. And then the person goes, oh, yes, but the Bible. And he goes, no, shut up. That's the end of the show. I want to see that. I just want to, on the Piers Morgan show today, we've got this person. 3 words in. Oh fuck. I'm sorry, I fucked up. Goodbye.